Have you been feeling isolated and lonely? Could you benefit from a more effective, supportive environment around you, for more friendships? If so, this video is for you. I'm going to share some of the low cost or free ways that we can help develop a support system. So, I wanted to start with different kinds of support groups and programs that are low cost or freely available. And one of them is the 12-step program model. Um, these programs were modeled after Alcoholics Anonymous, but they have kind of shifted to cover so many different topic areas, everything from, support for people who grew up in a household where there's addiction or alcohol use, like Al-Anon, or adult children of alcoholics, to things like Emotions Anonymous, or anonymous programs for eating problems or for sex and relationship problems. So if you're interested in that, you can Google and see if any of those subject areas resonate with you. And a good way to see if this 12-step model speaks to you is to look at YouTube and kind of search for that 12-step program you're interested in, such as Adult Children of Alcoholics, and then put speaker meeting. And then you can hear like a recording of someone sharing like their experience, strength, and hope in that kind of group setting, but it's just one person sharing their story. And usually they talk about what it used to be like, what their life is like now, and how they got there. So it can be a good way to get like a flavor, especially if you listen to more than one, right? So you get more than one example. There's also virtual meetings for these, so they can be more accessible to people. And the beautiful thing about these 12-step program model is that they're self-supporting. So they operate off of donations of like $1 or $2 a meeting, what people are able to contribute. Okay, an alternate to the 12-step model is called SMART recovery, as in intelligent, smart. And this, they do use some like cognitive behavioral therapy principles around substance use recovery. Another option that we have here in San Diego, and I believe they also have meetings elsewhere, is called Depression Bipolar Support Alliance, and it goes by the initials DBSA, and that's for people who have lived experience of depression and bipolar disorder. There's also the National Alliance for Mental Illness, NAMI is what they go by. If you Google National Alliance for Mental Illness, you will find that they have both support and education programs for people who have a mental health diagnosis and also for their family members or close loved ones. And the cool thing about NAMI is they have like a warm line. They provide a lot of education, and they have just in general, in my perspective, like a really high standard of information too. So you know that if you go to them for information, that you're most likely going to get really good education and support. They have support groups too, in addition to like some classes and so forth. Okay, so I also wanted to say that they have support groups for so many different needs, including grief support groups, and then specific to the type of grief or loss. And there are a lot of things like for people who want to, quit smoking, or for people who, have like a learning disability. If you search kind of the area that you're looking for online, you might be surprised for how much is available out there for free or low cost. Um, Also, there are people who do group therapy for different topics, and they take insurance sometimes. So it might not even be that expensive to get support in a group setting. All right, so now I'm going to talk about some other like informal ways of getting support and building a network of like friends and people you can rely on. So one is to kind of find a volunteer opportunity. This can be fun, especially if it's in like a hobby area, such as like if you really like plants, you could look into becoming a volunteer at a local garden center or botanical garden. And this way, if you're volunteering, you're likely to meet other people with a similar interest. And then you might be able to transition those friendships to outside of that volunteering opportunity. Joining a gym or taking up a sport. A lot of cities have recreation programs for adults as well as for youth. And they also have like intramural kinds of sports and more casual like pickup games and stuff like that. Also, like if you have a dog, looking for a dog park nearby, sometimes these can be nice informal settings where you're going to be around people who you have something in common with. Other things that you could even find virtually are stuff like a book club, um, or a writing group. There are a lot of free writing groups online. And you can virtually write and have these kind of virtual friendships with people. Another way too is to find, like, if you have a subject area that you're really passionate about, like a specific movie or like a fan culture, you can find a virtual community, and see if it has like a nice supportive energy. You might be able to make some friends that way. Some people enjoy gaming with friends that they've met online, and they find that these can be very supportive and very like real in many ways, even though we're in like a virtual space. And so one other thing I kind of wanted to mention is that when we're looking to build, our support system, and we're looking to have and nurture friendships that fulfill us, it can be helpful to create a list of what qualities we would like to find in a friend and be very specific. And then to see, how are we embodying those characteristics? So for example, if we want a friend who is a good listener, are we practicing good listening? Are we practicing, expressing what we need? You know what I mean? So someone can reciprocate, or can meet that need, right? Because people can't necessarily read our mind. But if we need someone, if we really need someone to just listen and not give us advice, it helps to be able to say, hey, do you have 5 minutes to talk? I would really appreciate it if you could listen, hear me out, not even looking for advice. I just really need a supportive ear. And then being open to reciprocate that for somebody else. So that's just one kind of thing that might be useful. And another thing that I think can be helpful too is to um, kind of look at how we're presenting ourselves to the world, be open to like small talk and having like a little bit of chit chat with people and just practicing it because the stakes are very low. Like if you meet someone in the grocery store and you awkwardly make a comment about the weather and you feel silly about it, chances are you're not going to see that person again, or if you do, they're not even going to remember it. So it could be a really good low stakes way to practice just breaking the ice with people. Um, and yeah, so I just wanted to say too that, sometimes we can meet friends and make friends in very, kind of like spontaneous, unforeseen ways. And so sometimes it helps to just have our phone away, when we're navigating, our work environment, or, if you are in school, like when you're navigating the campus, going and studying in the library instead of studying alone in your room, right? Or going to a communal space and having your phone away makes you a little bit more available to engage with other people. Even having like a physical book in front of you does maybe make it a little bit easier for someone to engage you in conversation versus if you're kind of staring at a phone and you have your headphones in, it kind of communicates to other people like, don't bother me, which is good if you don't want people to bother you. But if you want to connect with people, it might not be the most helpful thing. So I just wanted to say that a lot of people are struggling with loneliness. It can be really hard to make friendships, especially, as an adult. If you're out of school, if you have kids or you work a lot, it can be hard. But I kind of feel like it's quality rather than quantity. And sometimes it just takes a little bit of practice, like having healthy boundaries and also just showing up for people. And if someone invites us to do something, just going ahead and as long as it's within our values, like saying yes, showing up, because part of that friendship is like taking the hand when it's offered to us, and also reaching out when we need help. And on that note, I just wanted to say that thank you for listening to my video. If this was helpful, please like, share, subscribe. And if you'd like to share with me how you built a good support system for yourself or what you found to be helpful, please leave it in the comments. I would love to read it. Thank you.